Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Fandom Empire live on a Sunday night. Sunday, April the 18th, 2021. How's everybody doing this evening? I've got a fun little show for you guys tonight, guys and gals out there. Look at my notes. Look how pretty my notes are. They're like a little table. They come down, show me where I need to go. Old school, still right on paper. How's everybody doing? We're going to talk some horror movie video games tonight. Gonna take a dive in at Resident Evil, Friday the 13th, Predator, Alien, Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and more. And we're gonna let Kieran have a little bit of time to talk about Leprechaun. He's going to have the ability to try to convince not only me, but the audience why it's worth giving any time whatsoever to. But without further ado, the co-hosts for this evening. First up, number 2 at Fandom Empire, Mr. Tommy B. What's happening, man? Oh my God, your screen is large. We going to do this again? Hold that thought. We're going to go to Kieran first, Tommy. Kieran, how's it going?
Not too bad. It's been an all right day. I've been working like super hard through this whole week and weekend, and I don't know. I got some kind of rough news that I have to go and teach online at my school, which is just annoying because I can do it from home remotely. I can do anything they need, but why do I need to step foot in the building during a don't go anywhere time? I don't know. But whatever. I'm not gonna argue that point here, but it was kind of a bummer, but I'm excited to be here. Anytime you ask me to be here, I'm like, okay, cool, that'll make me happy. That'll cheer me up. So good to go tonight.
So what you're saying is you don't want us to slam The Last Jedi for the next hour. Actually, you know what? Hang on. I want to start with some Star Wars talk right out of the gate. Just an opinion before we introduce Tommy B. And I seen someone slamming The Last Jedi on a Facebook group, and this is what I don't get. They say that there's absolutely nothing redeemable about the movie. And even I can sit here and say, you're just hating if you think there's no quality in that movie whatsoever. The movie still has some of the best visuals ever seen in cinema. The movie still has fantastic acting throughout it. There's a lot. I think you could cut half an hour out of The Last Jedi and make it a really fucking good Star Wars movie. So to say that there's absolutely nothing good about that movie, I think you're hating. I think people are hating just a bit too much. That sucks, man, that you got to go in. Because, God knows this province does not have this country doesn't have its fucking shit together right now. And when I talk about this country, I mean our country here of Canada, not the United States of America. I'm going to apologize to everybody now. I'm guessing Tommy's having a little bit of a connection issue as his window keeps going up and down and up and down. But we'll try to work through it. Without further ado, though, the man gracing us with that beautiful yellow hoodie again, Tommy B. What's happening?
Hey. I am hanging in there, trying to do the best I can, all things considered. It's been a real quick weekend. Getting ready to go into those awful Mondays tomorrow, but hey, just gotta keep on going, right?
Yeah. I wasn't expecting to have to live stream and record a wedding yesterday on like half a day's notice, and basically picked up 2/3 of my YouTube studio and moved it into the upper deck of a church and hooked into their soundboard and a bunch of other things. And Tommy, you and I talked a little bit about this yesterday. As you said, you're definitely out of your element. And it's like, yeah, that's an understatement. But I was really happy that it went off really well and that it looks really good. And even just doing that made me go, oh my God, can we just go finish Haddonfield the Vanished already? Just doing that made me want to get back to it. So, Frank says, Tommy's such a Debbie Downer. What? Tommy's not a downer. Tommy's an upper.
I mean, it's a Monday. It's
actually Sunday.
Tomorrow's a Monday.
Tomorrow's a Monday.
That's why I'm being a bit of a downer about. I mean, Frank, if you had to do this job, I think you'd be a downer too. Driving a commercial motor vehicle full of children who don't quite like you for the most part.
Yeah.
Cause you every little bit of trouble they can.
Yeah. Damn those spoiled kids. How dare they? How dare they give you a hard time?
We're counting down the days and weeks. We really are.
I actually went to my work this evening. Jensen's never really seen a school bus in person, and I figured it's a Sunday and absolutely nobody's there, so I brought him into the yard and showed him all the school buses, and he was in awe. So that was a lot of fun. That was some nice fun. Anyways, we got a lot in store for everybody tonight, but I do want to touch on this right off the bat because I was made aware of it early this morning. Is our friend Lee McCoy, who most of you probably know as Drum Dums, had a live stream the other night, D&D Live, and even though it was not scheduled and it wasn't really brought up by anybody, I know our boy Frank Riker was in his chat. Anyways, Lee reached out to me this morning and said that he talked about it, and he basically came to talk about the troll issue. Don't worry, we're not going to talk about the trolls for the next 50 minutes. And the chat mod's ready to remove anybody who wants to be, not only an asshole, but a racist and all that other shit. But anyways, Lee McCoy, about 7 minutes into D&D Live, addressed some of the things that have been going on here and some of the harassment and blackmail and just racial bullshit that these guys have been pulling on top of the trolling. And he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to touch on it at all. His channel's huge. He's way bigger than we are. And yet he took time out of his show to send well wishes to us, tell people about the channel, and basically tell the trolls to take a hike, to put it politely. So that was pretty cool for Lee. Big shout out to Lee. If you don't know who Lee McCoy is, he's an awesome horror movie YouTube guy. Definitely go check him out. Drum Dums on YouTube. We will have him on the channel again, but that was pretty fucking cool. It goes to show the little community that we've built here. It means something to some people. So, any brief thoughts on that, gents, before we move into tonight's topics?
I mean, it just kind of goes with what we have here. Like, we have a nice little community here. And like beyond that, we got a community with other YouTubers, a lot of guys who've been on our show, and Dave McRae, and Frank Riker links us all a lot, being a chat mod in all these chats, and has his own awesome podcast. And I've talked to lots of different guys and different and shared and liked all their stuff too. So beyond the community we got here, we got an even bigger community of like YouTube horror shows, and it's really nice to see everyone united.
Not to mention you're doing the Rick and Morty stuff, and I don't know a whole lot about Rick and Morty, but the crossover between the Rick and Morty communities that I've seen just from the very limited amount of time that you've done your show and had your page going, it looks like a really positive community to be a part of. So it's nice to see Fandom Empire really blending into all these communities and having new incredible people jump on board each day.
Yeah, I know of the like 10 or 12 guys who I have who solidly watch every show. There's about half of them who show up and watch our streams too. So it seems like there's a lot of people who like Rick and Morty and horror for some reason. It seems to go together more than I thought it would.
Tommy, any thoughts on any of that?
Just, it's nice to expand and get into different areas of all fandom and what have you, and to know that we got folks support. That's all. It's always appreciated. It's always appreciated. Makes us get a lot more out of this, I think, personally.
Absolutely. Now, I do have to state again that this is going to be a shorter show, ladies and gentlemen. We're looking to be off of here in about 40 minutes time. So we're going to be sort of, I won't say rushing through, but we're going to focus on the video game stuff here. And then we're going to let Kieran talk about Leprechaun for a bit, and then we'll turn it over to Q&A for all you guys. However, if you want to chime in at any point during this show or interrupt us and support the channel on another level that allows us to keep going the way that we are, and more so, you can send in a super chat. We read all super chats. So send in a super chat, support the channel on that level if you can, and if not, then just being here and gracing us with your presence, especially Frank, who we know is in his polka dot Speedo in a hot tub while eating some Doritos while watching this, or Cheetos. Cheetos are not Doritos. I always get those two confused. So bunch of fun. I see my gift buddy Dean Renner's in the chat. We got Cat, American Turkey Burger, Sham, Toronto Freddy, Matt Whitfield, a bunch of people. Kenny's in there too. Love seeing the attendance. I just thought, we already were scheduled to do Lampkin Lane, which, by the way, the Lampkin Lane Patreon show, shameless plug here, is live at 9:15 Eastern time tonight, 15 minutes following this show. If you want to be able to watch that show, we're going to be talking what could have been done differently with Halloween 5. And we're going to talk a little bit about the fake Halloween end script, a.k.a. the Russellville mine shaft one. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Fritos, damn it, Frank says. Fritos. I've never had Fritos. Not once. Not one time. So, so if you want to send in a super chat, feel free. And if you want to tune in that show, go sign up for Lampkin Lane on Patreon. Otherwise, just chill, hang out, and let's have some fun with this. All right, gents. Horror movie video games. Intel Wild's in the house. How's it going, Intel? Horror movie video games. They've been around since Atari, believe it or not. There was a Halloween Atari game. I never got to play it. I've seen screenshots of it. I don't think I've seen any video of it, but it looks what an Atari game would look like. Completely unrecognizable as Halloween. Let's go around the table here. Kieran, what was your first, horror-based video game? And then what was the first one you actually really got into?
Well, the answer is the same for both. The first horror game I got into was the original Resident Evil for the PlayStation.
Did you have the one that had like the really big tall case, or did you just get the because I know when it first came out it had the tall PlayStation case, and then that was the first one I saw. What happened was my sister's boyfriend, they went out for a long time, and he used to spend a lot of time at our house, and my sister was babysitting me, and I probably shouldn't have gone and watched it, but because I was afraid of horror stuff at the time. But they were playing this Resident Evil game, and I never heard of it. And I came in like right during the first time you see a zombie, and there's a cutscene, and he's like, feasting on some person, and then turns around and looks at you, and man, like it still looks pretty good today. Actually, that part they did a really good job on it. Obviously, it doesn't look anything like it used like today's stuff, but it's still pretty freaky when you watch it. And as much as I've been scared of scary movies for most of my life until I was an adult, video games, I always liked being scared of video games. I was cool with the Resident Evil and being scared, and like I played a few games where there's giant spiders like Resident Evil and things like that, and scared the crap out of me. But I feel like with a video game, like I feel more in control, so I was cool with scary video games. So Resident Evil video games are awesome. I played most of them, and I own a bunch of them. So as much as I'm more of a recent fan of scary movies, I'm an OG when it comes to Resident Evil. Alex Roof says Until Dawn is the best horror game he's ever played. I got a heartbreaking story about Until Dawn. I was told about it for like a couple of years. People hyped it. Apparently, the story can change every time you play it. It's very similar to Heavy Rain, like that. But you play as a group of characters. I got an hour in. Where did that come from?
What?
What do you mean, what? Don't bullshit us. Where did that come from? When did you get that?
This guy?
Yeah, that guy. Him.
I got him today. Woo, he comes in a 2-pack with Lori as well.
Oh, it's the cloth pack. Nice.
Yeah.
Now be careful with Lori's arm. I think our boy Toronto Freddy broke Lori's arm.
Well, she's already
How?
in hospital attire, so,
How?
whatever. Just put a cast on her.
I think he was just moving the arm and it broke. Toronto Freddy would have to let everybody know in the chat, but oh man.
Oh man, you gotta if it's like really, if the joints are really tight, you gotta move them under warm water. Everybody knows that. What the hell?
The fact that you have a Loomis before I have a Loomis shames me. I feel like I've let down our community by letting that happen. But that looks badass, man.
As soon as I knew it existed, I had to buy it. I saw it like maybe like a week ago, and I was planning on buying it when I got a paycheck, and then things, obviously I didn't even know if it was open, the EB Games here. Wait,
you got that from EB Games?
Yeah.
That's shocking.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible. Sorry,
I'll definitely be setting him up somewhere cool. He'll be definitely somewhere very visible in my background here.
NECA makes those, right?
Yeah, it's NECA.
You can buy them down here in the States from Target. I know that much.
Yeah, I think in the States you guys have even a better like Walmart section for collectibles. So
no, they certainly do. They most certainly
here
do.
we only have like kid stuff in Walmarts.
I don't know how much you can get in. It's got to be on the shelf and actually shoppable for still in a Walmart. That sometimes says a lot.
10 years ago, we had a lot more in our Walmarts up here. That has since changed. So, Frank Recker says he hears no love for Fatal Frame. Frank, my boy, I haven't even heard of it. But back to Until Dawn. I got an hour into Until Dawn. I was thoroughly enjoying it, really liked it. And I bought the game used, and the disc wouldn't read. And so I could never get past that 1 hour, and I've never got to go back and play it again. So it's on my to-do list. I want to go back and play it. It seems like a great game. I definitely want to dive into that. Now, Tommy, have you played any horror video game, period?
I don't know. Maybe a little bit of Resident Evil, but like I said before, that was probably the arcade game that was floating around. I've come across a few times over the years, and otherwise I've never owned a Resident Evil game.
I own 4, 5, and the remakes to 2 and 3. So maybe I don't own the 1 to 3. I think maybe it's only 2. I don't know. I think
I own 1 through 5, Code Veronica, and
I definitely own
the
some
3DS
of the
game I have. Even though I sold my 3DS, I still have the game.
I own some of those side Resident Evil
Revelations?
games. Yeah, that's one of them. I think there's 2 Revelation games. I don't know. I have a few of them digitally on the Xbox, but I never play them. And some of them I've never played, period, because you get them when they're on sale. And it's like, oh, I'll play this on a rainy day. And I've had lots of rainy days.
Code Veronica is actually one of my favorites. I love that game.
Yeah. What was it? Wasn't there a Resident Evil 0 at one point for GameCube?
Yep. Yeah, I played that before too. It's that's pretty good, but the story's not quite as good.
So we found out recently that Resident Evil's doing a whole bunch. We talked about it a few shows ago. They have the live action movie that's coming later this year. I believe it's been backed up to Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving It's a movie that basically follows the events of the first 2 games. They're trying to stay faithful to those, although I question how you can get both of those events into one game and stay faithful. We shall see. Flitter asked earlier if Ontario's still a mess. Yep, Ontario's still a mess. Resident Evil has that coming. They have a Netflix show currently lined up. They just released the trailer for, I think it's called Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, which follows, I might be wrong on the title for that, but it's the 4th animated movie. It follows Leon and Claire again, 2 of people's favorites, and they're at the White House, and it just looks fantastic. I can't wait to watch that. And then we know Resident Evil The Village is coming. There's an online multiplayer Resident Evil coming. And here's one piece of information we didn't have correct, and that is there is, in fact, a Resident Evil 4 remake of sorts coming, but apparently it's going to be all VR. They're redoing Resident Evil 4 in all VR, and even though I don't own VR, that between that and Resident Evil 7 in VR, it's making me want to pull the trigger. Kieran, any interest in that whatsoever?
Well, I've played Resident Evil 7 in VR, and it's fucking terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. Like, it's... Oh, my gosh. I don't know. I don't know how many more terrible... I don't know how worse it could get. Like, that's probably one of the scariest experiences in my life, and I have stepped on the foot of a Hell's Angels member before, so...
Nice.
That's a true story.
How'd that go for you?
He was like super nice, and he slapped me on the back with his hand. He was like, "Oh, don't worry about it, buddy." And he had like these giant rings on his hands. It was scary as shit, but I thought I was going to die. Turns out he was a pretty nice dude.
You all right, Tommy? You look like you're focusing hard on something. You playing Pokemon? Is that what's going on over there? You playing some more Pokemon?
Yeah, I'm playing the illegal version on my computer, yeah. No, I was checking the message, checking the thread.
Resident Evil Mercenaries, says Sham. Is that a new thing or an old thing? I don't know. You're going to have to explain that one. Sham says, Resident Evil 4 VR, Kieran needs to do a live stream of him playing this. I'd be so game for that. Let's set that up. That'd be a bunch of fun. It'd be a blast.
Oh, man. Thaden has VR, so that's possible. And we're definitely going to get it. And when I play horror video games, I scream like a little girl. So it would probably be very
explain
entertaining.
This to me, because I'm pretty sure what I'm thinking of is Resident Evil. All Resident Evil games are on the rail, right?
Are on what?
On the rail.
I'm not even sure I know that term, man.
No, you mean
shooter?
No. You're thinking of House of the Dead.
Oh, you mean like when it starts to go through? Like he's talking about one of those old arcade games, right? Like where
yeah, that's what I've been thinking.
No, Resident Evil is nothing like that.
I played Resident Evil in an arcade before, but that's
Resident
what I've been
Evil's
thinking
not
of.
really
I thought all Resident Evil games were on the rail shooters.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Resident Evil, at least when it came, it's a little less so now, but when those first 2 or 3 games came out, like the camera movements were really fucked up in those games. It was really hard to like navigate your way through certain spaces because it kept switching on you and the perspective would change and it really messed you up.
Well, and they had tank controls.
Yeah, not to mention, is it the first game where you're in the mansion and the dogs jump through the window and you got to get away from them? And like the camera angle is, it gets all messed up on you. And it's like, you're trying to run for your life if you're not able to kill them and the camera changes on you. It's like, fuck.
Well, so sometimes you'll be a camera angle of like looking at yourself. So when you press forward, you'll be going towards yourself and then the camera angle will change and forward will now be a different way. And you'll be like, why can't if you keep holding the direction, you'll keep going that way. But if you let go and then press it again, it'll go to the new direction, right, that you would be in. And also, tank controls, you can't go left and right. You can only pivot left and right and then go forward. So your person actually walks like I'm spinning on my chair, and it like doesn't. It's definitely It doesn't make a lot of sense when you think about it logically, but it makes it much scarier as a video game because you're trying to turn around, to run away from the dogs or to run away from zombies. And you're not just like turning and running. You're turning, and then running. And these people are coming the whole time. So, I mean, I think that's 0 through Code Veronica and 3, you have those controls, and 4, it gets a little bit better.
I think I don't think this is why they use those camera controls, but because the camera controls the way that it is in those games, it really sort of like freaks you out during the game because like it's so easy to not know something's there because you can't like just look at it head on, right? So I definitely remember the dogs from 1. And then number 2, what's his name, Mr. X or whatever, the big dude in the coat and the hat, who's basically indestructible, and they did him really good in the remake of 2 as well. So just so many classic moments in Resident Evil. Frank says Claire is the master of unlocking. Frank, Ray would agree with you on that one. Ray's a huge Resident Evil guy, and he plays those games through nonstop. Yeah, I don't like that he cheats and searches up all the answers for all the little puzzle pieces so he can just cruise through it. But, I mean, it's his life, his time. He can choose how he wants to spend it. I want to switch gears here from Resident Evil and talk about Friday the 13th. Am I the only one that's played Friday the 13th in here? The newer version of it? So, when everyone talks about a Halloween game, which may or may not be coming, and we're going to address that here in a few minutes. When everybody talks about a Halloween game, I've heard people, and I know we talked about this not too long ago, but like a lot of people go, well, I want a Grand Theft Auto style Halloween game, open world, huge map. And I just sort of think to myself, and
How does it feel to want?
What? How does it feel to
want?
Well, people want a lot, right? That's life.
Because that's all you're going to be You're going to be wanting. That's it. It ain't coming.
Man, I was playing Grand Theft Auto for the first time the other day, and like I hadn't played it in a few years, and like the size of the maps are just insane. You wouldn't get a Halloween game that has 1/5 of the size of the map of Grand Theft Auto in open world, let alone the size of Grand Theft Auto. It's just too expensive. Like, I can't imagine what creating that world is like and how time-consuming it must be, because it's pretty ridiculous. Dean says, Sean, I've played Friday the 13th a little bit. I still have it, but no system to play it on for now. Got to change that, man. Pick up an Xbox and jump on with Reaver and I. We enjoy playing that, even though there's no servers anymore. You can still play online off of someone's connection. It's still fairly enjoyable. The reason why I bring up Friday the 13th, though, is it's not like a super in-depth game. You know, there's 5 or 6 maps in it. It kind of looks like a graphic novel of sorts. You know, it doesn't have the Telltale look per se, but the graphics aren't mind-blowingly good. But the one thing the game does have is it's a love letter. It's a love letter to Friday fans and Jason fans, and it's done so well. And when I think Halloween game, and if Gun Media is going to do it, just do what they did with Friday. You don't need anything else. Give us a couple of streets of Haddonfield as a map. Give us the hospital as a map. You know, we need to do an entire live stream on just what we would choose to have in a Halloween game. But like for me, give me 3 streets of Haddonfield as one map. You know, give me the hospital from H2 as another. For H4, you could choose so many different locations. Same with H6, you could do Smith Grove. H7, you could do the school. H8, you could do the Myers house. There's so many you could do with them. And when you look at that Friday game, the attention to detail in that game, if you play that game and then go back and watch the Friday movies, it's spot on. Yeah, it doesn't look like, some 4K masterpiece, but the attention to detail is so spot on that you know it's a love letter from somebody that really loves the franchise, understands the franchise, and to just have details like that to the point is exactly what I want in a Halloween game. It can be low budget, but that's what I would go for. Kieran, I know you're not a big video game guy, man, but if you're going to... Kevin Dustin says, anyone see Dave McRae's Tony Moran video roasted? Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about Tony on Lampkin Lane. Honestly, it's not a surprise. Tony Moran's a fucking idiot, and that's never going to change, and I really don't want to waste channel time to him. So, but I would just say go check out Dave's video. It was just fantastic. Kieran, you're not a big video game guy, but for you, if you're going to spend, and remind you, these aren't full budget games, so if you're going to spend $40 on a new Halloween video game, what's it got to have for you?
I mean, I can picture it for sure. It's got to be something that's scary, like a Resident Evil game. It's got to be something that's, or any of the other kind of zombie type games. But like, I can totally envision being in the hospital and, being a character who's limping if you're Laurie, and they have the perfect setup with Halloween because whenever Michael is anywhere near you in a movie, you hear the theme. So Imagine as a detection, as soon as you hear the theme starting to come through your speakers, you know that he's there. If he gets closer, it becomes more intense. It becomes louder. Like not knowing where he is, in a hospital where he could be in any room, in any staircase, like just playing a hot or colder type of game, trying to get away from him, maybe trying to find other characters. Like imagine, trying to go through a hospital to find the sheriff character, and you're a limping Laurie, and all you can do is try to stay away from the, Michael Myers music as it's coming through. Like, would be terrifying. Even if you could throw in the fact that, maybe the music comes louder and louder, and then you run into a security guard instead. And it's the same as a movie where you think it's Michael, and then you turn around and, it's just a security guard. Woo. Like they could definitely do a fairly easy game on a fairly low budget that would be worth playing. The only thing is someone has to decide that it's, going to make money, and I don't know if it will. So, I mean, I don't know how successful the Friday the 13th game is, but we know that like we've said before, the marketing for Friday is way better. So.
The Friday game was very successful for what it was. It's the lawsuit that killed it. They can't release any new material. So, sad, but true. And I do like the idea of when he gets closer, you could hear him breathing, like Toronto Freddy said. I like the idea you had about the music, Kieran. Those things both happen in the Friday the 13th game. And, if he's like really close to you, like it's flat on. Like, to me, when he's, like, right on you, it wouldn't be the Halloween theme that plays. It'd be the stalking theme, the dun, dun, dun. And, that, oh, shit, I got to get the fuck out of this house. Let's go. That, to me, is what would make a decent Halloween game. Tommy, you don't buy many games, man, but if they were to make a Halloween game, what do they got to do to make you buy it?
So, a Halloween game would have to, in my mind, be based off of preferably H1 and H2. I think that's a real good way to go about it, considering minus the Atari game, which, along with Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, ended up bankrupting the company, would be a good approach, especially today. It'd be nice to see some of those old school scenes redone, for like a cinematic, in my mind.
We got to give our boy Frank some love here. I love this one. Loomis's super move is an extra bullet, and Laurie's is throwing a child at Michael. Linda's is a tit flash, and Annie, sends Lester. Oh my God. Lester the pooch. The one thing that you got to give Friday the 13th some credit, though, is you look at that Predator game that came out for PlayStation last year. Complete and utter disaster. Sold next to nothing. Is not reviewed well at all critically. It seemed like they were trying to be the Friday the 13th game, but didn't have the love or the attention to detail in it. And you hear almost nobody talk about it, not on the level they did the Friday the 13th game. So the Predator game was a miss. I have, it was like free with gold or whatever, a Alien game for, there's a couple of them for Xbox. And they're actually like story-based games, which I find interesting because I think if we see a Halloween game, I don't think it's going to be story-based, although someone in the chat had a really cool idea about a Telltale game for Halloween, and I think Tommy brought that up before too. But the Alien games, I believe, are story-based, which makes me want to try them. But I think those that want a story-based Halloween game, I just don't see it happening. I don't. But there's been rumors for a while now, guys, and I want your predictions on this. So it's not rumors, it's confirmed, pardon me, that Gun Media is doing another video game based on a horror movie. It's not Friday the 13th. That's still in the lawsuit. A lot of rumors pointed towards Halloween. We do know that Gun Media approached them during as Halloween 2018 was ramping up to come out. Gun Media approached them about doing a game. So you start to connect the dots. I'm not saying what Jimmy Champagne has or has not said, but he has at least talked about it on this channel and on his own channel that Gun Media was interested in doing a Halloween game. Rumors started to swirl last fall that Gun Media might be doing a Halloween game. And then we found out that Kane Hodder, who played Jason, is working with Gun Media on this new horror movie video game. Kane Hodder has spoken before about he would kill to play Michael Myers. So maybe Kane Hodder is playing Michael Myers in a Gun Media Halloween game. We've done some videos before on it. I think it's a very strong possibility. But the other thing that we've started to hear over the last month or so, and it's probably because the movie is starting to generate some interest, is there's a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie coming out, fellas. And it's a sequel to the original. Could this Gun Media game be a Texas Chainsaw Massacre game where you're playing as a group of characters and not just one, and Leatherface is essentially coming after you and going to kill you? What are the odds? Is if you're a betting man, do you think this Gun Media game is Halloween, or do you think it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre? I'm fairly confident in saying it's one of the two. Kieran?
I would think that it would be more likely to be a Halloween game. I can't even put my foot down on why. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is not a big franchise to me, and it doesn't. I mean, not a big franchise in context of all of the horror franchises and things like that. It definitely is in a different tier. And like I said, I don't know if they want to make so many horror movie games because I don't know how big that market is. So I would think it would be more likely to be a Halloween game. I can see it happening, but also, yes, the Predator game, I was actually really interested in buying the Predator game, and I asked Thaden about it, who is my video game expert, plays everything. He owns the video game, and he told me it's all right. But from what I've heard, most of it, the complaint is it's just not fun. Like, I haven't heard a lot about the graphics not being, good, or the maps not being good, or things like that. I've just heard it's just not fun, and it's really easy for, either the team of people or the Predator to, outmatch the other based on how good the gameplay is, the player playing either one is. And I've heard, like, if the humans are good at what they do, they're unstoppable. Like, you're always going to kill the Predator if, you know how to play it properly. So it just wasn't fun. It was never, the competitive balance was never set right. So I would think a game against Leatherface would make a lot of the same challenges. And I don't think a Halloween game would make those same challenges. So if I was a video game developer, I would be jumping more on trying to make a Halloween game where you probably are not going to be a bunch of cops hunting him down. You're likely one person trying to take down Michael, and not a group of online players.
I want to try to give this guy some credit. Who said it? I don't see it in the chat now. Someone said earlier, in the Halloween game, you get to be Freddy, a.k.a. Busta Rhymes, and he does kung fu moves.
I saw that.
That'd be hilarious. That'd be good. That'd be good stuff. I'll say this. I'm going to be bummed if the Gun Media game is not a Halloween game, because I think now's the time to strike. And I believe Gun Media intends to reveal what this game is this summer. Whether it comes out this year or not remains to be seen. It could come out next year. Never rush a video game. Bad things happen. The timing seems to be right for both, really. If it's not a Halloween game, though, I wouldn't be terribly upset if it is a Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. I'd be pretty for that. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I do agree with Kieran, though. I think a Texas Chainsaw Massacre game presents some of the same problems a Predator game falls into, where Halloween is more in the vein of Friday the 13th, and Michael is Michael, so killing him is basically going to be impossible. And I think that's the way it should be, if it's just an online multiplayer game, you shouldn't have, let's say there's 8 people in it, 7 human users and 1 user as Michael. You shouldn't have 5 or 6 of 7 people escaping the map every single game. You should have nobody or 1 or maybe 2 escaping the map. It should be really hard. And that's what I'd say to look for on that. Kieran, quickly, man, you got 2 minutes to sell us on why there should be more Leprechaun movies. Go. He's had no prep for this, by the way.
The Leprechaun movies are I talk about them like they're the greatest thing ever, but they aren't the greatest thing ever. But they're perfectly set in the same way that all of the classic horror movies are. If you're someone that likes, all the original Freddy movies, all the original 13 movies, all the original Halloween movies, like I like the originals better. I like old horror movies better. And it's that's where Leprechaun fits in so perfect. It's a little bit, it's not quite as scary, and I don't think people are as scared of the Leprechaun as they are, these other characters, but it's the same sort of feeling, and I find that they're hilarious. I find that the acting is a little bit cheesy, of course. They're low budget movies, but like the Leprechaun, it's like himself, Warwick Davis just does such a fantastic job of being like menacing and crazy and having hilarious one-liners like Arnold Schwarzenegger style. I think that anyone, like if you're a horror movie buff or whatever and you haven't seen the Leprechaun movies, you definitely have to watch 1 to 3. It drops off after that. If you don't like Leprechaun after 3, then you can leave for good. Because the 4th one is dog shit, but I watched it anyways. But like honestly, I think it deserves to have a place alongside a lot of other horror movies, and I like it enough that I want to make my own video reviews of it, because I think that people should go back and watch them.
Alberto says, how about a Scream game? I can tell you what it looks like at Frank Riker's house as soon as we said that. And this is killing me. Since I did that wedding ceremony, my headset's just not coming across as loud. Gonna have to figure out what the hell's up with that. Yeah. So there you have it. That's basically all from us tonight, guys. It's a short show. I don't know what Tommy's doing there. I'm still convinced he's playing Pokemon.
Just saw a lovely Amazon charge. I have to go figure out what the fuck it is.
Uh-oh.
Always love when that happens.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. Ghostface is in Dead by Daylight and definitely way too overpowered. The guy is like lightning fast, which really makes no sense because Ghostface should be tripping over every carpet and couch that he sees in the game. So
Ghostface's only power is in his anonymity. So
I think that whoever makes Dead by Daylight is definitely huge Scream fans and very biased because nowhere should Ghostface be more powerful than Leatherface or Michael or Freddy, all of which are in that game, and yet he is. It's just mind-bogglingly stupid. It's terrible. All right, chat. Anything you guys want? 5 minutes to go, and then we're going to take about a 10-minute break or so and be back with Lampkin Lane for those that are Lampkin Lane tier members. If you want to sign up, you can go to www.patreon.com/FandomEmpire because that is the way. What do we got going on in the chat? 5 minutes to go. Whatever you guys want to talk about, we'll talk about, and we'll go from there. We might be able to push it another 5 minutes. We'll see how active the chat is. Dean says, for all the Leprechaun films, I can only watch 1 to 3, and that's more than enough for me. Frank Reger says, what Kieran is really saying is that Warwick is good at being short. Oh, ouch.
I mean, he is fairly good at that.
I think Tommy...
He's amazing. I don't know why. How can you get any better in a movie than a leprechaun killing a man with a pogo stick by jumping on him?
Could you imagine? Everybody's like waiting for, Michael versus Pinhead or Michael versus Leatherface or Michael versus Jason. Everybody's wanted a Michael verse movie forever. And then it ends up being Michael versus Leprechaun, the film. Could you imagine?
I can't see Michael versus Leprechaun. I can see Jason versus Leprechaun because Jason's kind of dumb. So him hunting down the Leprechaun, or it'd have to be a reason. You have to have a reason to steal the Leprechaun's gold, though.
If it was a Michael versus Leprechaun movie, I would put it in the Rob Zombie universe so that you can have Zombie Loomis there and Zombie Michael, and it would just be just a fucking shit show. And then you could cross over Busta Rhymes into that universe, and Busta Rhymes can be the special guest referee between Leprechaun and Michael. Oh my God, we got $1 billion idea here. Oh, wow. Dean says, solid, you're so late. What did we read what Frank said, I believe. John says, a wrong turn game where the updates get shittier every month. American Turkey Burger says, Rob Zombie will remake the Leprechaun movies next. Ugh.
I think someone actually came out and said they wanted to make the Leprechaun movies, correct? Do you remember who that was?
I don't, but it wouldn't surprise me.
It was someone who's made a horror movie before. See if I can look that up.
$10 super chat in from Dean, our boy Dean. Thanks, Dean. Again, congrats to you, man, on passing your test. That opens up so many doors for you and your family, and that's fantastic, man. Really proud of you, and hopefully you keep up the hard work, man. Zach says, Fandom Empire has the upcoming independent Night of the Living Dead remake called Rebirth been on your radar? No, not at all. But maybe we'll address it as it comes. Where are we here? Matt Whitfield says, Jennifer Aniston is the only good thing about the Leprechaun movies. I got to watch what I say about Jennifer Aniston because I have a fiance watching.
She's terrible in that movie, but she's pretty awesome. As an actress, she's awesome.
Have you guys seen her in Horrible Bosses?
Yeah, I have.
Nope.
Oh, Tommy, have you seen Horrible Bosses?
Nope.
You need to rectify that. You'd find those movies hilarious. I know you. Max asked Frank what he would think about a Scream game, and Frank just replied with, "Really, Max? LOL." Matt wants Wicket versus Leprechaun. What else do we got here? Troy Grubb says, "What do you think of the Mortal Kombat movie coming up? Love the show." Kieran, I'm going to let you take this one, man. You're way more engaged in Mortal Kombat than we are.
Yeah, the new Mortal Kombat movie actually looks fantastic. And if you've seen any interviews with the director definitely knows what he's doing, understands the characters, understands what the fan base wants. They've talked about having fatalities. He knows the characters well. Like, he knows the characters so well that when you look at the Sub-Zero that you see, you can understand that it's the original Sub-Zero who goes on to become Noob Saibot. Because he wears a darker outfit and is a more crazy-looking character. I guess he's more of a darker-looking character. He wears a dark bluish character. But like, you can tell that he knows what's going on. You could see things in the trailer already that make you believe that this is a Mortal Kombat movie that's going to definitely give you what you want from the characters. It might not be exactly the story that we've been told, which bounces around from game to game. They kind of do a little bit of rebooting it quite often, so it's not like they can veer off the path a little bit. But like, with everything I've seen so far, all the interviews, all the actors, and everything that I've heard so far, they understand the soul of what Mortal Kombat's supposed to be, and the fights are supposed to be badass. And just a lot of things that they've left in terms of, like, you know, tweets and posts and little tidbits that you get from the movie. They know exactly what they're doing. It's going to be very beloved by Mortal Kombat fans, in my estimation.
Where are we here? Frank says, "I finally got the Halloween game idea. Each stage is a movie in the series. H4, you're Rachel or Bracken." I think he means Meeker. But yeah, no, I get it. Our boy, that's right, our boy Solid Saturn said, "When are we getting the Halloween Kills poster?" Well, you know, we got some breaking news for you. Can we have some breaking news music? Can we? Apparently not. We right now,
breaking news.
Right here, are going to drop the exclusive reveal of the Halloween Kills completely authentic, clearly not made up poster right now. Okay, we're going to drop it right now. Right now. Here it is.
Okay.
Here it is. I'm going to go to solo screen for this, and then I'll return to. So freeze your looks, guys, on the poster. Hold them, and then I'll go to the screen. So here we go. A look at the completely authentic Halloween Kills poster that everyone keeps saying that we said a certain date it would come out. Here it is. Clearly very real. There you have it. The very real, completely authentic Halloween Kills poster. Isn't that thing worth big, big bucks? Look at it. It's obviously the real deal.
Why does Michael steal a unicorn horn in it, though?
Right? Oh, man. I seen Solid's message, so I did this in about 30 seconds. No, the last thing we heard on the poster, guys, to keep this completely simple, is we heard May be looking up. So, could be May. My bet is June. I'm still sticking with June for a poster. Maybe June for a trailer. Who knows at this point? They don't know at this point because of how messed up everything is. But we're almost in May now, guys. It's coming sooner than you think, one way or another, until they delay the movie to 2022 and everybody screams in terror. Hey, you got little Loomis and I got like little Kieran. Look at this.
I'm not that gray yet.
Oh, man. Toronto Freddy asked, did Boss Logic draw that? Oh, man, look at my art skills, people. Look at that. Wow. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for Fandom Empire Live. Big shout out to Tommy B, Kieran, Toyman, Dr. Loomis, Frank, Toronto Freddy, and Matt Whitfield in the chat. Tommy B, where can everybody find you at, man?
Everyone can find me on the phone with the credit card company tomorrow, getting pissed off probably.
Oh wow!
And
is it a bad? Is it a
on
bad?
social
Don't
media.
give away details, but is it a bad one?
60-some bucks.
Oh, you sure it wasn't the wifey?
It's not that big a deal, but
Live stream it.
I had another charge a few months ago, and this card's not old. So anyway, on social media, you can find me hanging around at TommyB1650 on Twitter and Instagram. And Facebook, check me out on Fandom Empire Den and Future Halloween. And yet again, being pissed off on the phone tomorrow.
Kieran, where can everybody find you at, man?
Playing with my Loomis action figure.
You can find Kieran on the Rick and Morty Fan Show this Tuesday, 8 o'clock Eastern. Check out the Rick and Morty Fan Show group on Facebook and all that good shit. And our buddy, Dean Renner, says he has dibs on first order of that poster. But what about the autographed John Carpenter version of the poster? Look it, clearly a legit autograph right here. Clearly from the maker himself, John Carpenter. There you have it. $500. Anyways, for all you that are part of Lampkin Lane, we'll see you guys in about 10 minutes over there. If you really want to sign up real quick and get a part of it, you can join our Patreon, www.patreon.com/FandomEmpire today, because that is the way. Big thanks to everybody. Don't forget, Tuesday night, Rick and Morty Fan Show, followed by Fandom Empire Live. Good shit is coming. We'll see you on the flip side, everybody. Good night.